In the 11th century, as Islam faced a crisis of faith and reason, one man would bridge the gap between philosophy and mysticism. Al-Ghazali, known as the Proof of Islam, drew from centuries of Sufi wisdom to revitalize Islamic thought. His journey from celebrated scholar to wandering mystic would not only transform Islam, but influence Western philosophy for generations to come. This is the story of Al-Ghazali and the Sufi path of the heart. Born in 1058 in Tus, Persia, Al-Ghazali was orphaned at a young age and raised by Sufis, practitioners of Islamic mysticism. From these humble beginnings, his intellectual brilliance shone through. By the age of 33, he was appointed professor at Baghdad's prestigious Nizamiya Academy, a testament to his mastery of Islamic law and theology. But Al-Ghazali's journey was far from over. At the height of his academic career, he experienced a profound spiritual crisis. The man who could win any theological debate found himself questioning the very foundations of his faith and knowledge. In his autobiography, he wrote, "I examined my motive in my work of teaching and realized that it was not a pure desire for the things of God, but that the impulse moving me was the desire for an influential position and public recognition." This realization led Al-Ghazali to abandon his prestigious post and embark on a 12-year journey of spiritual discovery. He wandered throughout the Islamic world, seeking a deeper understanding of his faith through Sufi practices and direct spiritual experience. When Al-Ghazali returned to teaching, he was a changed man. His magnum opus, The Revival of Religious Sciences, sought to bridge the gap between Orthodox Islam and Sufism. In it, he argued that true religious understanding comes not just from intellectual knowledge, but from spiritual experience and moral transformation. Al-Ghazali wrote, "The question of divine knowledge is so deep that it is really known only to those who have it. A child has no real knowledge of the attainments of an adult. An ordinary adult cannot understand the attainments of a learned man. In the same way, a learned man cannot understand the experiences of enlightened saints or Sufis." This emphasis on direct spiritual experience was revolutionary. Al-Ghazali maintained that there are multiple levels of understanding, each corresponding to a different state of spiritual development. He introduced the concept of the perfected man, who could operate simultaneously on different planes of existence and understanding. But Al-Ghazali was not just a mystic. His work, The Incoherence of the Philosophers, launched a powerful critique against the Greek-influenced Islamic philosophy of his time. He argued that reason alone was insufficient to grasp divine truths, a stance that would have far-reaching consequences for Islamic intellectual history. Al-Ghazali's influence extended far beyond the Islamic world. His works were translated into Latin and Hebrew, influencing Christian and Jewish thinkers alike. Scholars have traced his impact on figures like Thomas Aquinas and Blaise Pascal. The 20th century philosopher William James even described Al-Ghazali as anticipating by many centuries the pragmatist doctrine of truth. In Islamic thought, Al-Ghazali's legacy is immense. He is credited with preserving orthodox Sunni Islam at a time of great intellectual and spiritual turmoil. By integrating Sufism into mainstream Islamic thought, he provided a framework for combining intellectual rigor with spiritual depth. Al-Ghazali's approach to spirituality was both innovative and deeply rooted in Islamic tradition. He advocated for the use of music and poetry in spiritual development, arguing that these arts could elevate the soul and bring it closer to divine truths. This approach would later flourish in Sufi orders like the Mevlevi, known in the West as the whirling dervishes. As we reflect on Al-Ghazali's life and work, we see a man who bridged seemingly irreconcilable divides between philosophy and theology, between mysticism and orthodoxy, between the heart and the mind. His teachings continue to resonate today, offering insights into the nature of knowledge, spirituality, and the human condition. In a world often divided by rigid ideologies and shallow materialism, Al-Ghazali's message of intellectual humility and spiritual depth remains profoundly relevant. He reminds us that true wisdom comes not just from accumulating information, but from transforming our very being. As Al-Ghazali himself wrote, "The purpose of knowledge is action, and the purpose of action is the perfection of the soul." In this simple yet profound statement, we find the essence of his enduring legacy, a call to seek not just knowledge, but wisdom, not just belief, but transformation. Al-Ghazali's life and work stand as a testament to the power of critical thinking, spiritual seeking, and intellectual humility. In our own quest for understanding, we would do well to heed the words of this remarkable thinker who, nearly 1,000 years ago, dared to question everything in his pursuit of truth.